How you
You
doing?
doing all right?
So good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Ready to get out of here or what?
Yeah.
Driving in for me and Diana, especially for me, you guys are full on dynasty mode, in my opinion. No, you don't like to talk about it a lot, but what has changed?
I think the urgency level's still up. It's probably presented differently. I think that's still there. The guys are hungry. I think you have so many more players that are coming back, that have been here and coming back. That they kind of take that, and rather than me have to do all of the encouraging for the competition, they're doing it. And whether it's Pat or Travis, or who's been here the whole time, Travis, Chris Jones, Bolden, these guys, they present a challenge for each other, and I think it's healthy. It's good but it's different than when I first got here, and you first got here.
Since you don't have to put so much effort into instilling the fundamentals of what you want this to be, because you've got these team leaders, what are you putting all your effort into now at this point in your career?
Being a player is like being a farmer, the work's never done. And likewise with coaches, but you can always work fundamental techniques. And I think that's probably where most of the effort goes. And then try to give them new things to keep their minds active, and where they don't get bored with the same old plays over and over again. Try to find new things. Great players. I was around Reggie White early in my NFL career, and Brett Favre. And they were great players, arguably two of the best to play the game. And all they wanted from a coach's standpoint, give me one more thing that even helps me be greater than what I already am. Yeah. So as a coach, you go, all right, I'm going to go find that nugget and try to give it to him. Now, it doesn't just have to be Reggie. And he knows. I try to stand right behind the quarterbacks, and I still do that, and just make sure that we're right. And I think they appreciate that. So that's kind of where my effort goes.
Where are you getting this from?
I've got great coaches that help grab things from different places. And if I have an idea, I'll throw it in there along with them. And listen, we get it from anywhere. We'll take it from high school. I've taken it from a janitor. Wherever,
That janitor story's
whoever
awesome.
and whatever.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna take players that'll come up with some great stuff. This guy here was unbelievable with stuff. So, you come up with great stuff, we'll sneak it in and go. He should have been a coach, but I know he's big time now.
Oh, come on.
Big podcaster now.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about, and I've talked a lot about them, and they couldn't believe this, but like your team meetings are 5 minutes long. And the longest meeting you have of the year is that training camp meeting, which you're going to get ready to go down. Why the 5-minute meetings?
Well, you get to year 10 and 12 and where we're sitting here now. So you don't want the players to go, man, I heard the same thing over and over. I'd rather just get in, get out, give them what they need. I couldn't stand meetings when I was playing. The long meetings would drive me crazy. So I said, if I ever have an opportunity to be a head coach, it's going to be short. It's going to be sweet, to the point. And that's kind of how we've kept it. You know what you get, though? You mentioned about players, helping players. You can compete and win if the coach is teaching the player. You get the players teaching the players, and now you can really go and compete for championships. So that's where our guys are right now.
You talk about the grind. Well, I'm talking about the grind of the NFL season, right? You guys have been to so many straight AFC championship games, won your third Super Bowl. I mean, that's a season and a half of extra games, wear and tear. And, Travis at the beginning of the year was a little bit banged up. He got healthy down the stretch, had an amazing Super Bowl. How do you handle that?
I enjoy doing what I do. I think the coaches do. But when given an opportunity to get away, let's get away. I give them a little bit of time off after the Super Bowl. And then there's another little break in there for spring break where they can take their kids and go someplace. And I encourage them, get out of this building and go. And then I'm able to hang with Veach and we do the personnel stuff. I mean, if he needs a coach around, I can be the coach that starts off the free agency. The other guys can get out of here, and try to enjoy their families.
Chase brought up Travis's year last year, and we obviously all know he's managing so much. And there's been so much attention on him. Even for you, you've never coached a player to get this much attention worldly, around the world. How have you been managing that, knowing that everyone's got all their eyes on your star player?
Yeah, well, I think it's great for him. He can handle it. As a matter of fact, I think he probably loves it
Yeah.
to a point. I think there's a great escape for him. I said that about Taylor too. I mean, she comes to the game, she can kind of escape having to be the show, and Travis can do that. And when he goes to her concerts, she's the star, and he can be hanging out there and be the support of the water boy, so he can do that.
But just for you though, seeing this, like what was that like from your perspective?
Yeah.
Because everyone was looking at this like this is
Yeah.
bonkers.
Yeah. No, I think it depends on the people involved, I think. So
Yeah.
she gets all that, and he's kind of grown into it. That podcast of theirs is ridiculous. So he's gotten a lot of notoriety for that. And he's an outgoing guy. I mean, he comes into a room, he's going to light the room up. And everybody's his best friend. Until you prove him wrong, everybody's a friend. And so he can handle it. It's not something that he hasn't been given that he can't handle.
Here's the one thing though that Chase has shared with me, and I know this from just talking to guys around the league. As kind and gentle as you come across, you run a tight ship around here. That being said, you guys are the most popular team in the NFL right now, and your guys have gone a little Hollywood, and I say that as a compliment because they've had so much success. Naturally, I would think you don't love it because that's just not sort of where you come from, the space that you were built or you built everything around. How are you handling all of this, knowing that the guys are a little different than they were, let's say, 10 years ago?
Yeah, listen, I'm okay with it. I grew up in Hollywood, so I mean, I'm okay with it. The guys, as long as they're ready to go.
Yeah.
And so training camp is kind of that proving ground. If you're not ready to go, it's going to be obvious quickly. And just from whether it's a conditioning test or the long drive drills that we do, I mean, those things are you're going to find out who's in and who's not in, and who's put their time to get in. So, and then hard work has a tendency. You're not worried about being Super Bowl champs or anything like that. You're worried about getting through that moment, and it builds something in you. That's the nitty gritty, as you'd say, of it all. It brings you right back it grounds you, brings you right back to earth there.
The Falcons drafted Michael Penix Jr. this year. They signed Kirk Cousins, $100 million guaranteed. Alex was here when you guys drafted Patrick Mahomes, and you guys jumped in front of Sean Payton and the New Orleans Saints. I was there with the Saints, and it was very well talked about, like they were going to take him. Give a little insight into that relationship and how much Alex played a part within Patrick's routine and going from day to day, and how he's really been able to be the player he is today, because I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, sure. Well, I never asked Alex to be his mentor. That's not where it went. It was Alex just doing it because he's a good dude. Yeah. So he took it. Yeah, he took it from there. But I told him, just go have the best year you've ever had. Don't worry about anything else. And he ended up having his best year. At the same time, he let Pat into his world. So he let him into that training, his diet, his study habits, being a family man. They'd go out to dinner, wife would go, and then he'd meet the kids and see how Alex handled the kids. I thought he was a great example for how to be a professional football player for him.
Yeah, and I think, too, as you can tell, I mean, 15 or 16 of NFL's starters have gone down this year. I know you guys and Veach and yourself really prioritized the backup when Patrick was going to be starting. He went from 0 touchdowns to 50 touchdowns in his first year. But that backup starter relationship was very big for you when I was in the building with Alex. How did you guys decide on a guy like Chad Henne, who ended up being here and being one of the best things, in my opinion, that's really shaped Patrick's career?
Yeah, well, he won games too for us on top of all that. But he was great with Patrick. I mean, he was older, and he knew that he was coming down towards the end of his career. He understood the role. He'd be another one that would be a great coach if he chose to go that direction. He was honest. He was an honest guy. Yeah. So you get a guy that's throwing 50 touchdowns in a season, you can pat him on the back, tell him how great he is. Chad's going to tell him, hey, that was a great job. But on this play, you stunk, and this is what you've got to do. So he was a great sounding board for Patrick, I think.
The players have been really bold about the three-peat. I remember walking off the field in Vegas with Travis, and we did the typical what's going through your mind? How you feeling? He's like, we're going for 3, baby. I'm like, three what? What are you talking about? It still hadn't even registered to me that you just won and you're already thinking about the next. So your players, Patrick, obviously all your leaders have been really bold about this being the goal. They're putting it out there. How do you feel about putting out, hey, everyone, we're going for 3?
Yeah, I don't think it's not healthy. I mean, it's a nice goal to put out there. It's hard to get 1.
Yeah.
And so these guys have busted their tail to get 1. They busted their tail to get 2. And so the bottom line is, again, I come back to that training camp thing that grounds you. You have to do this, this, and this to even think about getting to there. And so they've got to go through the process, and I can take care of that part. And if they keep thinking that we're going to do great things, more power to them.
I know I shared with you privately that I came across a great parenting video about managing emotions in my toddler as I'm trying to deal with my kids. They're 2 and 1. I'm not sure if I'm great at this, but I'm trying hard and I'm trying to learn and get better. And the example that I saw in this from this therapist was how you managed Travis in the Super Bowl when the emotions were at the highest. And the therapist's point was you did the right thing. You walked away because you understood what was happening in the moment. From your perspective, what was going through your mind? And did you purposely walk away?
Yeah, well, he and I have a unique relationship. So it's, that's not the time and the place. When he was upset that I took him out of the game. Yes. So, I mean, but he had a good fourth quarter. So I could come back to him. I knew he was going to have a good fourth quarter. So I could come back to him later and go, yeah, you played pretty good that second half.
You made a good point.
Yeah. But I mean, I love his enthusiasm. I love the want to be in there. I understand how he's wired. And I've had my moments where I've gotten after him and so I get it. I mean, I get it. I've 5 kids and 13 grandkids. I kind of get that thing and how it goes. Yeah. Now, he caught me off balance. That wasn't a good thing. He got me.
I can imagine the behind the scenes conversation after that.
Yeah, well,
because I've seen it.
Yeah, he knows.
How long are you going to coach? Because every year for the past 3 years, it seems like these retirement rumors, no clue, honestly, where they come from. We see you in State Farm commercials. We hear you got another one coming out. Like you just seem, in my opinion, knowing who you are at the depth of you, you seem like you're not slowing down yet. And you just signed a 4 or 5 year contract extension, very well deserved. Everyone gets these contract extensions, and as soon as you win these Super Bowls, you're going to keep getting them. How long do you want to coach?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember when my parents retired, I said, how'd you know it was time to retire? I mean, you hit 65 and then you retire. I mean, what is it? And they say, you'll just know, you'll know when it's time to go. And
have you been close? Have you been like, what, this is it?
Yeah, I really haven't thought about it. I mean, I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I know I'm on the bottom side of this thing and not on the top side of it. So it's coming, but I don't know when it is. And this is a great place to coach, and I've got good players, and so I'll be 71 at the end of this contract, and that seems like really old, really old, and so we'll see where it all goes.
Coach, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So Chase and I are starting our new podcast called Scoop City. We're doing this together twice a week.
Oh, nice.
We're going to give Travis and Jason a run.
Yeah.
We're
Good.
competitive,
Yeah,
so
good.
we think we can knock them off. I'm sure we can. Someone here's got to date a movie star or some celebrity to help our numbers. Yeah. But so we really appreciate you.
Yeah.
You're our first guest.
Oh,
so
how about that? Yeah,
thank you
good.
so much.
Yeah, you bet.
We really appreciate it.
We do want to ask you one thing on your Tommy Bahama shirts. So tell us the scoop.
Oh yeah, what's the scoop?
On these Tommy Bahama shirts, because I see you at the owners. I think the best picture all year is you at the owners meeting, relaxed, flip-flops, Tommy Bahamas. What's the scoop on that?
Yeah, it's the ultimate big guy wear. So who would ever thought I would have been a model for Tommy Bahama, but or for anything for that matter. But there's nothing more comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Okay.
And I don't have a deal with them or anything else. I mean, I've got every one of their shirts though, and they're so comfortable.
I bet they go well with the cheeseburger.
They go. Yeah, you could spill on them,
Oh.
and you never see it.
Oh.
You never see it. It just
that's actually
just blends right in. It just blends right in.
All stylish.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank
Awesome.
you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.